I was 15 years old. I was skinny, young, and cold, and it was 9 o'clock at night. The stars prickled down from the black sky above me onto the black sea all around. My grandmother, to my right, sucked her neoprene wetsuit up her arms and legs, and I did the same, my toes gripping the wet slats of a wooden dock that, during the day, was familiar. Everything was darkness. We were going night diving, and I was terrified. Scuba diving is like being an astronaut. You become weightless in empty space. You bring the Earth's atmosphere with you in a tank on your back, and as you drink it down, it hisses and rattles through pipes behind your head. Diving makes you feel totally free. It lets you fly away from the ground, away from any pull on your body, into an alien world full of color and corals and fishes and light. But the same freedom, that same lightness, also makes you helpless. The soles of your feet have left the earth. Air, even precious air, is stolen from you. Like a newborn baby in a different world, you learn to move all over again, in 3 dimensions this time. You claw and kick through the water, fighting the strange weight of the tank on your back and the strange lift of your body's own buoyancy. And you watch the lazy bovine grace of the fish who dart in front of you. They flirt and hunt, twisting through the water like ribbons or shards of light. You can't help but envy their sureness. You can't help but envy the knowledge their bodies were born with. When I was a little girl, I always ran away from the dark because I knew it had eyes. There was always something creeping towards me beyond what I could see. At night, in my bed, I curled up tight around myself under the covers. I squinched my eyes shut and I held my breath and I strained for the barest clicks of bony claws on the staircase. I listened for the liquid slurp of tongues licking pointed teeth. I knew if I moved, they would find me. I never made a sound. I was 15. I was skinny, young, cold, and terrified. My grandma and I put our breathing regulators in our mouths, counted to 3, and jumped, one after the other, into the ink-black sea. The water rushed in over our heads and swallowed us down. There is a way in which night diving is like having a pillow pressed hard over your face. There is only dark in the night ocean, like slipping into the warm, wet gullet of a sea monster, or Jonah in the belly of the whale. You see nothing. The black water presses against your mask like it weighs something, and there is no difference between closed eyes and opened ones. Then I snapped on my flashlight. It revealed a brilliant circle of white sand on the sea floor. All else was darkness. As I rolled the light over the sand, rocks, corals, and tiny reef creatures were uncovered and then immediately lost again, as if my flashlight beam were creating and destroying them as it went. We descended deeper and deeper, away from the surface world, towards the reef. The night reef swarms. Corals bloom into fields of swaying feelers, dusty orange and pink, like fingers reaching to pluck plankton from the currents. Nocturnal soldierfish, who stay tucked into the coral in daytime, come out to feed at night, and their scales flashed cherry red in our light. Once, when scanning the empty black water, my flashlight beam found a young squid as long as my fingers. She gleamed iridescent purple and blue, like a peacock's tail. We dive at night because the sea has an ebb and flow with time, a circadian rhythm just like your body. At night, daytime fish tuck away into nooks in the rocks, while the coral itself comes awake with color. Nocturnal hunters with large eyes flex their muscles with the setting sun. This was why I was afraid as we drifted through the night sea. Most reef fish are small, the length of a hand or shorter. Many are tinier than thimbles or buttons, spending their lives in coral crannies, forcing you to swim in close to see their stripes. But there are larger beasts in the night ocean. They do not appear often, but they are there. And I felt them all around me. With the rattle and hiss of my breath and my tank, I heard nothing. With the pathetic beam of my flashlight, I saw little in the dark. I scanned my light up into the open water above my head again and again, always expecting to reveal claws and scales and bellies, huge open mouths looming just inches away. All I found was empty water. The hair on the back of my neck prickled, and I knew there could always be something just behind me. But after many minutes of calm, watching life wander across the coral, I began to relax. My heartbeat slowed. I watched a colorful crab pick its way between rocks. I watched tiny blue shrimps nestle in anemones. But then, the monster found me. I felt water billow over my right shoulder, and a wall of silver scales flowed past my ear and into the light in front of me. I stopped breathing. Where there had been nothing before, there was a gargantuan fish, massive and muscular. Its 6-foot backbone was far longer than mine. Its mouth turned downward in a tragic grimace, and its scales gleamed like stainless steel. My vision tunneled as the monster scanned me with its dinosaur eye, and it stretched its jaws in a gaping yawn. Then, with a flick of its tail, the fish disappeared again, swallowed by the darkness. I have never panicked, before or since this incident, above or below the water. But I panicked now. I realized that I was screaming, that my regulator was filling with water, that I was suddenly dizzy and disoriented and drifting away from the seafloor. I scanned the empty water with my light to find the giant and saw nothing, even though I knew it was there, somewhere, watching me. I became a prey animal in fear for my life. I clutched my grandmother's arms and begged her to come away with me, to escape anywhere, but she could not hear me through the water. And then the monster swarmed up from below me, up between my legs, and I reeled away to avoid its massive silver back. I screamed, and I stopped thinking. I was afraid I would vomit into my breathing tubes. I shined my light in my grandmother's face and made the hand sign for up, 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 I pleaded over and over as the fish made fast coils around us. A small, sane part of my mind watched as the giant fish stalked and gulped down smaller fish in the wash of our lights. Wow, I thought. It would be so nice to watch it hunting. But my body kept screaming and saying up with frantic hands. We were 40 feet underwater. We risked diver's sickness if we rose too quickly. But then I felt my head touch the water's surface. In my panic and the darkness, I had swum upwards without noticing. I ripped my mask off my face and gulped the warm, moist air, and my fear lifted like a fog. The night sky was all stars. I knew the monster was somewhere below, but it could not touch me now. I was instantly ashamed as my grandmother surfaced beside me. "What happened?" she asked. "That was amazing." "I don't know," I said. "I lost my mind."
I am 23 now. My grandmother and I have been on many adventures since then, most of them underwater, but we never went night diving again. I have met the monster fish many times since. It is called a tarpon. Its Latin name is megalops, which means huge eye. It is also called the silver king, and is often pursued by fishermen who want to battle a force of nature. The silver king fights back when it is hooked. They can weigh 350 pounds, and they are completely harmless to divers, and are drawn to light when they hunt at night. Other than this, little is known about them. I have dived on that same reef in daytime when the sun shines down from the rippled surface onto a rainbow of coral. The reef slopes down into the deeper sea, and I often turn to look into the vast blue emptiness of the open ocean. Usually, there is nothing, but sometimes I discern a faint outline in the distance. As I swim closer, the outline resolves itself. Fins, glassy scales, and finally that huge and passionless eye. The tarpon appear in this way as ghosts. Their mirror scales reflect the light so perfectly that they look like nothing more than an uncolored drawing of a fish, the idea of a giant, until I am right beside them. Sometimes I don't even see them until they are close enough to touch. They are always larger than me, and they hang motionless and silent, suspended in the water. In these moments, watching the light play off their colorless armored sides, I have wondered if they are even real. I have sometimes mistaken them for gods. They sleep soundly, with their lidless eyes wide open. When the tarpon leave, I turn again to the open sea, which always looks like a flat blue wall rather than what it is. Vast, empty space, obscured only by the obscurity of the water itself. I think if the water were clear enough, I could see forever, across the planet, into the deep sea, to the next continent. Occasionally, large pelagic fish swim close enough to shore that I can see them. They always move quickly by and disappear again into deeper water, as if they have somewhere more important to be. Most of the time, I see nothing but endless blue water, like an abyss. I always wonder what other monsters are out there, beyond what I can see. I wonder if I will meet them someday.